Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? My name is Rob and welcome back for another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the fastest way or the easiest way to make $1,000 a month with dividend-based or passive income-based stocks. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to pick four different types of stocks, or four widely different types of stocks with different varying dividend yields, and show you guys how many shares of each stock you need, how much of a portfolio value you need, and show you guys the differences in the different types of dividend-based investing types of investments that you can do out there. So this is going to be a bit of an educational video, and I'm going to cover a lot of different things so you guys can really get a sense of, what type of stocks you're going to want to look for, what types of yields you want to look for, and what kind of portfolio you might want to kind of build if you're looking to hit that $1,000 per month. Now, inside this video, I'm going to be kind of focusing on today's current date. Like, if you're trying to look to build that $1,000 per month now, we're not going to be looking at, dividend growth. We're not looking at so much about long-term investing. Those things are important to consider. And whenever you build a dividend-based portfolio, you obviously want a portfolio that's well balanced, diversified, and has a bunch of different stocks, right? You want low yield stocks, you want middle yield stocks, and you want high yield stocks. So it's important to understand that, and you want sustainability. But in today's video, I'm really going to focus on, if you were a beginner investor and you had some money, or maybe you're looking to build a portfolio, how much money would you need, and what's the easiest way to get there to hit that $1,000 per month. So that's going to be the main focus. But remember, guys, it's important to have a well-diversified portfolio and make sure you're actually building a portfolio that's sustainable and achieves your goals and aligns with your values. And if you guys do enjoy this video and you guys appreciate what I've done here, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. So let's jump inside our spreadsheet. Let's take a peek at our four Canadian-based stocks, and let's see what we would need to have in order to achieve $1,000 per month with dividends. Alright guys, so here's the spreadsheet. I managed to take four different stocks we're going to be covering inside today's video, and I'm going to be showing you guys the difference between the stock prices, their annual dividends, their dividend yields, how many shares you guys need, the total portfolio value you need, and then I also included the 5-year return just so we can kind of take a peek at the difference between some of these stocks when it comes to long-term investing as well. But we're really focused on the current dividend yield and how many shares you need, and the total portfolio value you need to hit that $1,000 a month, which is going to be about $12,000 per year. So the stocks we have here on the left side are Enbridge, TD, which is Toronto Dominion Bank. We have QYLD, which is a high yield covered call ETF. And then we have ATD, which is Alimentation Couche-Tard. So these are the four stocks I picked. They're four completely different stocks, different types of investing, totally different dividend yields, as you guys can see. Enbridge has a dividend yield of 6%, which is pretty high. TD kind of has that medium range dividend, about 3.54%. QYLD by far has the highest dividend yield of 12%, 0.145. This is a covered call ETF. Talked about these a little bit on this channel, but I wanted to include something that's high yield so you guys can kind of just get an idea of how different types of investments work. And then we have the lowest dividend yield stock, which is ATD, Alimentation Couche-Tard, at the bottom here at 0.89%. And some of this stuff is kind of surprising and interesting when you look at it. So the first thing we're going to cover is going to be the stock price. So Enbridge has a stock price of $56. The total dividend here, in brackets here, I included the annual dividend. So we have a stock price of $56 Canadian. Everything is going to be in Canadian dollars. I converted it. And an annual dividend of 3.34%. Dividend yield of 6.14%. We need 3,592 shares of Enbridge to hit $1,000 per month in dividends, and that would basically equate to a total portfolio value of $201,000. So that's a pretty decent sized portfolio when you think about it. But it's not too crazy, but you still need a good chunk of cash, and keep in mind that's only going to hit you $1,000 a month, and the 5-year return of Enbridge with dividends reinvested and everything is 95%. So obviously the 5-year return is going to be influenced by different things, and you need to look at the total return over an extended period of time to get a better idea. But I just wanted to include that so you guys can see the difference between some of these high yield companies and maybe some growth based stocks and different things like that. And this also doesn't include things like dividend growth and whatnot, which is also really important, like I mentioned earlier. So Enbridge is going to be one of our second highest stock here with a 6% yield, which isn't too bad. But once again, you would need that $201,000 to hit that value. So moving downwards, we have TD, which is kind of going to be our kind of more lower yield. This is more of a growth-based / dividend-based company. You could kind of think of them like that. They kind of do a little bit of everything. One of my favorite bank stocks. Stock price of TD is $100, and the annual dividend is $3.16 per share. And keep in mind, the big difference between Enbridge and TD is that TD is worth a lot more, right? The stock price is almost double. So that's what pushes its dividend yield down to 3.54%. And you need 3,797 shares of TD to hit $1,000 a month, and that equates to a portfolio value of $382,000. So big difference here. It's almost double the portfolio value to hit $1,000 a month, and the 5-year return of TD is 72%, which is, keep in mind, average I should mention as well. They did have a big rebound over the past couple years, so that's obviously why they have that high return. So typically it wouldn't be that high. But that's just the way it works. Once again, look at the long-term return. TD 72% over the past 5 years is pretty solid. Pretty good company overall. But once again, you can see the big difference here. Going down here, we have the QYLD, which is a covered call ETF. This is a super popular American-based covered call ETF. I've been covering them a little bit more on the channel to show you guys a different type of dividend or passive income investing. QYLD currently is $25 a share, which is by far the cheapest stock, and it pays an annual dividend of $2.79. Dividend yield is a whopping 12%, 12.15%, and the reason why it's so high is because they're basically sacrificing pretty much all of their stock growth, their stock appreciation, to basically pay it out in distribution format. So if you look at the return of the stock, there's not much in terms of stock growth, but there is that high dividend yield. And you'd be surprised at what the actual return is if you kind of think about this. You would need 4,301 shares of QYLD, which equals a portfolio value of $109,000, which is very, very low. 100K, you roughly need give or take to hit that $1,000 a month, which is by far the lowest amount. And I wanted to include this to show you guys the different amounts of money, because saving up $100,000 or having a portfolio of $100,000 is a lot different than having a portfolio of $200,000 or $400,000. Big differences here. Total 5-year return of QYLD is 48%, which is obviously a little bit less compared to the other examples we have here. So it's obviously the lowest, but it's not bad when you think about it. You're still getting almost that 10% return per year, which is kind of interesting with some of these covered call ETFs. The returns aren't bad. They do lag behind some of the more growth-based traditional dividend stocks and overall growth, but they do have that good solid dividend yield, and they actually have some pretty decent returns. So once again, it's important to look at the big wider picture here. But also consider, what can you do today? What can you benefit from today? So the last and final stock is going to be an interesting example, and I just included it in here just so you guys can see the difference between the different types of stocks. So Alimentation Couche-Tard is not a dividend stock really per se. It's a growth-based stock. They do have a dividend yield, and they are aggressively growing that dividend yield at a very high rate. But currently, at this time and date, it's not a dividend stock, obviously. Stock price is $49, about $50 or so per share. And they have an annual dividend of 0.28%, or 28 cents, 0.28 cents. So obviously by far the lowest dividend here, and that equates to a dividend yield of under 1%, 0.89%. You need 42,000 shares of ATD to hit $1,000 a month, and you would need a portfolio value of $2 million. So that's obviously ridiculous, but again, this isn't a dividend stock. So I just wanted to show you guys the difference between the different portfolio values you need to hit your goals, and it's important to be realistic about this. And the 5-year return of ATD is 66.3%. So once again, you're getting that growth long term with this stock, but I just wanted to show you guys a reference between different types of dividend stocks here. Once again, guys, this is just a quick little summary of everything we talked about in today's video. So as you guys can see from the spreadsheet that we talked about, if you're trying to hit $1,000 a month, you're going to really need to build your portfolio in a certain way. Now, it's up to you guys how aggressively you want to do this. If you're looking to hit that $1,000 per month, quicker than other people, or you want to hit that, sooner than later, I should say, then obviously investing in some higher yield funds is definitely going to be something you might want to take part in. But remember, I really want to emphasize the fact that typically speaking, the higher you go up in yield, the more you sacrifice in growth, especially in terms of long-term growth. But at the end of the day, it's up to you guys to decide how you want to invest your money. I wanted to show you guys 4 different stocks so you guys can see an example of how these different stocks work, the different types of yields they have, and how much portfolio value you would need to save up, because I think that's important when people think about, saving up $100,000 is a lot different than saving up like $500,000 or even $1 million. So it's important to take everything into consideration here. But at the end of the day, always build your portfolio for sustainability and make sure you have a well-diversified dividend portfolio. And then you can kind of emphasize on whatever kind of route you want to take. If you want to have more higher yield, that's okay. Just make sure you have a balance and make sure you have some of those lower yield stocks or some of those more safer stocks just to offset things, just in case something bad happens. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like the video and remember to subscribe. Take care. Hope you guys are having a good week. Hope you guys are enjoying some of the nice warm weather we've been experiencing out here. But have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you guys later.